Cooper, we've reviewed a lot of guitars this year, but we've narrowed it down. So here are the top 10 favorite guitars of Cooper and I for 2020. Check it out. Hey, you're watching Alamo Music TV. My name is Chris McKee.
And I'm Cooper Greenberg.
We're here with Alamo Music Center in San Antonio, Texas. You can find us online at alamomusic.com. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, like our videos. If you'd like to support the channel, visit our Teespring store linked below for our custom designed t-shirts. And coming soon, a new CD from the band Head and Hair. So, what do you think? Good collab?
I can do that, yeah.
All right, cool.
I'm happy with that.
So, it is 2020. It's been a weird year, but despite that...
I don't know.
Yeah. But despite that, we've actually had the opportunity to review quite a few new guitars. And you know what? We have some favorites.
Yeah, we do.
So Cooper and I got together. We've kind of nominated some. We've narrowed down the list, and that actually wasn't that easy.
No, there was a ton this year, but a lot of really good stuff. So
yeah.
I'm happy with our list.
Absolutely. So we're going to go through, for you, in no particular order, our selections for the top 10 guitars we've reviewed in 2020. So I'll go ahead and start at the very top with number 10, the Martin SC13E. Now, when we reviewed this guitar, I said it was probably the most important guitar Martin has made in at least the last 30 years. You could argue that actually longer. For a long time, Martin, which I consider to be kind of the original innovator in flat top acoustic steel string guitars, has rested on their laurels. They've reissued or manufactured the guitars that they've made since about the World War II era, with a few changes along the way. But most of those were kind of updates on things or new materials, what have you, maybe a new body shape. But this guitar was so radical that, I really, from everything from the offset body to the 13 fret neck to the way that the neck bolts onto the body, which for most Martin fans, that's just kind of sacrilegious Taylor stuff, but I love that they've embraced it. They've embraced it in a unique way that's actually pretty ingenious. And so I still hold to that the Martin SC13E is one of the most important guitars Martins make. And we can't keep them in stock.
Yeah, no, it's been really hard. And so many people call all the time asking if we have them. They're pretty cool guitars. I enjoy playing them. They're very comfortable. And it's just really interesting to see something so somewhat radical from Martin. Yeah.
Absolutely. So that's number 10.
So for number 9, we're kind of grouping a big whole line into one, which would be Fender's Ultra line. The American Ultras, we kind of started seeing them at the end of 2019, but it wasn't until 2020 that we really got to get them in customers' hands, get them in our hands. And from Strat, Telecaster, Jazzmaster, which I'm all about.
Yeah, you're kind of, you purchased one.
I did.
So you're definitely biased.
Yeah, I'm biased. It was straight out of the box. We got them in the day of, when we got our big shipment in. It was mine, which was very cool. The basses are amazing. I love the finishes.
Yeah.
Just bringing a bunch of new finishes into the game. That white, the polar,
the very difficult to photograph or video white, yes.
Yeah, but just when you get to see it in person, it's beautiful, striking. The Texas T, the Mocha Burst, Ultra Burst, pretty much everything.
I love the Cobra Blue.
The Cobra Blue is fantastic. They're beautiful looking guitars and beautiful sounding guitars with the noiseless pickups. All of the kind of this is not an Ultra, by the way. If you're looking at this comes in later. But all of the carves and the contouring, and it's a modern guitar for the classically minded Fender fan. Yeah, we're very big fans. If you were gonna, what's your favorite of the Ultras?
It would probably be the Strat, and I thought about that. You know, we're going with the line because there really is something in there for everybody.
Yeah.
I do love the Jazzmaster being part of that deluxe, elite, ultra now kind of echelon of Fender. But you know, I'm a partial to Strats, and I really love kind of everything that the Strats got. The whole package, the colors, the carves in the back. You know, I literally was looking at the Fender website the other day, and if I was buying a new Strat right now, I was debating with myself if I'd get a Pro 2, hypothetically, of course, or I'd get an Ultra. And I would go with the HSS Ultra and Cobra Blue.
That's the pickguard combination with the Cobra Blue. It's an awesome guitar. It's a good choice. Yeah.
So, you know, tell us out of those, which would you put at that spot? But yeah, definitely the whole line we can't choose. So there you go. We're gonna
There you
cheat.
go.
All right, so number 8, I'm going to go with the Taylor Builder's Edition 324 CE. And I have to qualify this because we could probably fill a list of 10 up. It's kind of like with the Ultra line, right? We could put various Builder's Editions on this entire list. Taylor has really been knocking it out of the park with their sort of director's cut guitars. And we saw things like the 816 Builder's Edition, which was this radical kind of reinvention. The 912 Builder's Edition guitar, or the Builder's Edition 912 CE, I particularly love that little guitar and would love to own one. But I've got to go with the Builder's Edition 324 CE because it really brings that whole idea of the Builder's Edition to a more affordable price point. Making a 300 series Builder's Edition guitar is really fantastic. And that guitar, we've sold a ton of them. It's found a lot of fans. And it has a lot of the attributes that we see in something like the K24 at a much more affordable price with still just great feel and looks and certain details and aesthetics. So
Yeah.
I'm a big fan.
And something about Taylor this year, with everything the new that we've seen from them, I won't name other names, but sometimes we'll get like a picture of a guitar that we're going to be able to advertise in stock. And it's like, look forward to Q3 2027 for this guitar. But it seems like with Taylor, like Chris will text me a picture of it and then he'll walk in with it and like we already have it. It's such a crazy turnaround time for like so many models this year and as always, but they keep things exciting and everything we've seen is great. So I know it's hard to pick one, but yeah, they had an awesome year.
Yeah,
for sure.
they really have. So it's hard to choose one, but yeah, 324 CE from the Builder's Edition line, excellent guitar.
So for number 7, I gotta go for the Gibson Custom Shop Axcess Les Paul Bengal Burst. truly one of the coolest things that I've ever seen in my
Really,
life.
you like the name Bengal Burst.
Bengal Burst. I heard the name of the finish and I was like, "There's no way that's gonna be my kind of guitar." I opened up the case and it was like walking around to show everybody in the store, like, "Look what just came in."
Yeah, you literally were.
Yeah, no, I'm obsessed with the guitar. It was at our 90th anniversary last year that I was not able to go, and a friend of mine, Jean-Louis, if you're watching, how's it going? He walked in and bought it just at the party. He saw it on the wall and he was like, "That's my next one." And it was a huge disappointment because I didn't get to play it in the store really ever, except for when we did the demo. But one of the best sounding, best feeling, so many options of tones, but all of them are amazing. And then we got another one in not too long ago, and Chris was like, "We got a new Bengal Burst," and I was like, "Cool." And he's like, "Well, it's already
sold.
It's already sold.
It's already
and
gone, baby.
Yeah, it's in a box. You can't take it out because it's for a specific person across the country or something."
Yes.
But yeah, if you got to grab one of those, you're a very lucky person. Yeah, it's hard to beat that guitar for me this year, especially in terms of Les Paul. Pretty incredible.
Well, that guitar hit on some things that you touched on with the Ultras.
Yeah.
For us, it was kind of like a great blend of modern and traditional Les Paul, options and features. The aesthetic was fantastic. It felt great. It had ebony, which was a nice return on a Gibson custom shop. Yeah, it was really great. And looking at the Gibson Les Pauls, the Bengal Burst and then the Slash guitars are two that really, really stood out the most.
Yeah.
And for me, I think if kind of narrowing it down between the Slash model and the Bengal Burst comes down to kind of exclusivity and rarity.
Yeah.
I think we have some more of those on order, but there's just not that many to be had.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's a really, really cool guitar, really unique piece.
Absolute maximalist guitar in every way, which is not my vibe usually, but it's hard to ignore and hard to dislike, Yeah, it's great.
Cool. Number 6 is also from Gibson, and that is the Gibson Southern Jumbo, which, in fairness, actually isn't a new model. It's just finally back.
Yeah.
And I couldn't have been more excited. And if you missed it, we did a comparison of the Southern Jumbo with the J45, the 50s kind of original collection J45, and talked about the very subtle differences. But from an aesthetic standpoint, from a feel standpoint, both of those guitars are great, but I love the Southern Jumbo.
Yeah.
And it was, it was gone. It never should have been. I'm so glad it's back. And out of, it kind of goes back to what I was saying with the Fender, Ultras. If I was to throw down my hard-earned money right now and purchase a Gibson acoustic, that's what it would be. It would be that Southern Jumbo.
Yeah, it's a great guitar. I love J45. I fell in love with that custom that we had. But the Southern Jumbo, the aesthetic differences that are very subtle kind of take it over the top for me. And plays great, sounds great, but I love the aesthetics.
Yeah, the aesthetics are great. I think it nails it, and the neck is probably what pushes it over for me, because I do kind of like the more simple aesthetic of the original collection J45. I can get behind either way, but the neck on the Southern Jumbo I prefer, and that just kind of seals the deal.
Yeah.
So I don't know if someone wants to give me a nice gift. Southern Jumbo would fit into a very large stocking. So, but there you have it.
So for number 5, just to rub salt in the wound for Chris, is the custom K24 CE from Taylor that we got 2 of this year.
I go on vacation like just so little,
Yeah.
leave town.
The one time, and we get like the most special, incredible, like meticulously built and designed K24 that was just a joy to play. And obviously we're linking all these videos up in the video, but check that video out, because I think you can tell how giddy I was not only to play this guitar, but to play it before Chris got to. It's the wrong week for Chris McKee to be on vacation.
I never got to.
You never got to?
I never got to, which is what really makes this hard.
Better.
Because I told, without even playing it, I realized how amazing those guitars were. There were very few of them.
35, right?
35. Yeah. We were able to get 2. You got to do the video because I was out of town, and they sold before I got back. I never even had a chance to lay hands on them, so I'm a bit jelly.
Yeah, there's a sort of a sad aspect to doing videos like this, because they live on YouTube forever, and people will discover older videos that we've done of custom things or very limited things and say, hey, I'm going to call the store because I love this guitar. I'd love to get one or try it out. And they've been long gone for months or years at this point. But anybody that got an opportunity to play that guitar is a very lucky person. And yeah, that has to be on the list. If we were doing a ranked list, that might be number 1, which you would fight me for because you didn't get to play it. But it's really hard to beat that guitar.
Yeah. Well, maybe next time I'll get a chance.
Next time
I'll wait till you go out of town
yeah.
and to have Taylor send me something special.
Yeah.
All right, so number 4, we're going to bring it back to Taylor. Again, you said it earlier, they have had a great year. And part of the response to the pandemic is really just knocking it out of the park with the Taylor American Dream series. It's really hard to choose one in that lineup. You know, the 8027E, which is the mahogany top version, has that wonderful warm mid-range that's really complemented by the Grand Pacific body shape. But the 8017, particularly with the black top, which we just cannot keep in stock, and is severely back-ordered, I think it's great because it brings that warmth of Ovenkal, which has that kind of rosewood chime and bass along with the strong mid-range that Rosewood doesn't have, to a very affordable price point for a US-made Taylor guitar that just wasn't there before. I mean, if you wanted anything even close to that, you had to go to a 400 series before, several $100s more expensive. And it was just really cool to see kind of a stripped down, streamlined, reminiscent guitar, harkening back to Taylor's origins, and brought out in a very difficult year, and so I've been a huge fan of the American Dreams. I think a lot of people are going to be putting them on top 10 lists.
Yeah, I think so. I've seen a ton of people come into the store that kind of fall in love with the American Dream series that might not have been like a massive Taylor fan before because they're so different. A lot of people really love the stripped down aesthetic and the super comfortable kind of satin feel of everything. And the tone is so warm, and they're very affordable, American-made solid wood guitars. Yeah.
Yeah, I know that they did it kind of in response to what's been going on this year with the pandemic, but I really hope it stays in the line because they're really fantastic, fantastic guitars.
And the blacktop looks even better in person.
It really does.
It's so nice.
It's very cool. So yeah, American Dream is a dream.
So number 3, not to flood you with Taylor just for the last few, but there could be a Taylor-only top 10 list for this year.
We should do a Taylor-only top 10.
Yeah, that would be cool. The GT, which probably hasn't even been in a lot of people's hands yet, even at this point. But just to give you something to look forward to, the Grand Theater body shape new from Taylor that was announced not too long ago are extremely cool guitars. And again, they are solid wood, American-made, short-scale guitars that are just, I mean, for a fan of a GS Mini or a fan of a grand concert, kind of right in between. So cool to play. We got it in a locked case that was sent to Chris's house. And if you haven't seen that one, you can see me in real time seeing it for the first time because Chris loves theatricality. But yeah, totally worth the surprise and all the hype because once you are able to play them, you're going to dig it. It's very cool guitar.
I can't now not think about Batman Begins since you said it's like Deception M3 theatricality.
Members of the League of Shadows.
We're just geeking out. Yeah, no, the GT has been kind of game-changing. I know that the GT Urban Ash, both the GTE and the non-E version, have been just incredibly hard to come by. I've been fortunate to be able to really spend a lot of time with the sample that Taylor sent, and that is a guitar that is fun to listen to. That C bracing that they came up with, it doesn't have like the intonation spot-onness that V-Class does, but for a small body shape like that particularly, there's a richness that just you would not expect out of a guitar of that size. It brings the all-solid wood construction to a guitar similar to the GS Mini that many of us have been clamoring for a long time. And the neck, just kind of the Goldilocks in-betweenness.
Yeah.
I'm going to just create that as a term. The in-betweenness of that guitar really makes it just a blast to play.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. And, the GT, as it was introduced, we've now learned is the 11 body shape, or the 1 body shape, if you understand how Taylor's numbering system works, and has begat now, so like Bible trivia here. And the GTE begat the GT, which begat the GT811, which, you know, by the time you're watching this, that video will have come out. And there's more to come.
Yeah,
and that's all I'll say about that.
Yeah, it's gonna be so cool to see where that shape goes and that whole line and everything. For, like you said with the American Dream, it will be cool to have it be kind of a permanent part, hopefully, and just grow as all the other body styles have.
Yeah, it's interesting actually talking about the American Dream and the GT. In the video that we did introducing the GT, we recognized that there were a lot of features from the American Dream that were borrowed. Kind of the lack of binding with the rounded off edges and the stain and even the fretboard material on the bridge and all of these things we saw on the American Dream. And it's interesting that there's a lot of kind of design choices that Taylor makes that begin somewhere, end up elsewhere, and really just bolster through the whole line. The GT body, from everyone who's played it, every single person I've put in their hands, whether they were a Taylor fan or not, has loved that guitar.
Yeah.
Andrea loves that guitar. I mean, there's a ton of people that have been like, oh my gosh, this is great. I may be so bold to say that may be a bigger hit than the Grand Auditorium and the GS Mini at some point in the near future.
That's bold.
It's bold, but it's a lot of fun. So
yeah,
we will see. Stay tuned.
So number 2, to get redundant with my love of a Jazzmaster, we have to mention the American Pro 2s, which came out this year. And it's an awesome line to just update the American Professional from Fender, somewhat the flagship line. And everything from the previous American Pros was awesome and likable and just classic Fender. However, there were some people, probably myself included, and probably everybody at this store, that were a little disappointed with the omission of kind of your classic Jazzmaster control, your rhythm circuit. And with the American Pro 2s, you get the rhythm circuit back. And there are just all the kind of updates, the ultra rolled edge, the supernatural satin finish, the back of the neck contour, like at the heel, and the V-Mod 2 pickups sound amazing. So the whole American Pro 2 line deserves to be on this list, but specifically the Jazzmaster, it's incredible. Like I said, I purchased the Ultra, and so I have to, because I own it, and it's my guy, I have to say, well, I love the Ultra so much more. This really competes with it, and we talked a lot about the Pro 2 kind of brings those more modern, somewhat boutique-y elements to just kind of their standard, flagship line. And it's got all the classic Fender stuff. It doesn't sacrifice any of the kind of original beauty of what Fender and Leo Fender kind of had in mind for the guitars, but makes them very special, and would recommend, if you're looking for a Jazzmaster, check out the American Pro 2s, because it's hard to beat.
Well, and I think you hit on it at the beginning. With the Ultras, we talked about the whole line. It is really difficult to choose one. If I had to choose one from the Pro 2 line, it would be the Jazzmaster for the reason that you said. When we first reviewed the Pro Jazzmaster, it was the first time that there was an American-made Fender Jazzmaster that wasn't like a vintage reissue. That was part of that line, and now we've seen that grow to include the Ultras, which is really great because there's a lot of fans of this offset body shape and the Jazzmaster pickups and kind of the whole circuitry. But the circuitry is where the first Pro lacked. And I understand they kind of had a rock-first approach to it with just the simple toggle switch, but I think the fact that they've brought it out speaks volumes to kind of the guitar buying public at large, saying, this is cool, we like having this in the Pro line, but we want a full-on Jazzmaster. Yeah. And so, yes, if there's one that I've got to pick out of the entire Pro 2 line, it is definitely the Jazzmaster. Yeah. And I actually, speaking to the earlier dilemma, I have a dilemma because I want a Jazzmaster, and I don't know if I'm going Ultra or Pro 2 now that it's a full-on Jazzmaster.
Yeah, and again, like with the Ultras, very cool finishes on the Pro 2s that got added in this year. Dark Knight has been one that we've had a really hard time keeping in stock. Mercury's very cool.
They should have just made it Dark Knight, K-N-I.
Yeah, just whatever. Go for it. We know what you're referring to.
It's Batman's guitar. We get it.
Yeah, we get it. So. But yeah, and members of the League of Shadows.
There you go. All right, number one, in no particular order, except for this one. It has to be the Chris McKee signature model 914 CE, which is not really a signature model, but it is. But it isn't, but it is. I had to pick this and put this in the top 10 and make it number one, of course. Is that a little too full of myself to do that?
It is, but it's understandable. I would do the same thing.
I thought about doing this at number 3 because we only have 3 left. But this has been a really kind of a coming full circle, bit of a dream that you never really thought would come true, kind of come true. Because I do so love my 914. I play it all of the time. and to have the ability to collaborate with Taylor and say, hey, I'd like to do this, and create such an amazing guitar. Even in the lead up to us shooting today, I just spent time with this guitar. I've got it in Dadgad, Michael Farley's favorite tuning. Good friend of ours. Check him out on TikTok. But this guitar impresses. I'd love to take one home.
Yeah.
Except I don't know if I can. It's kind of like what did Chris Rock say? I can't eat at Red Lobster. I work at Red Lobster. But truly, fantastic guitar. And you know what? It's amazing because the V-Class bracing really brings a lot. But I was curious how this guitar would kind of hold up to mine. That's 20 years old.
Yeah.
Guitars age, they open up, they get warmer, all of these things. And as a new guitar, this one really holds its own, which is impressive. And so I'm excited to see what these sound like 20 years from now.
Yeah, it'll be great. And also, the amount of people that have come in here looking for a very nice Taylor that have seen one of these on the wall and been like, wait, what's that?
Well, without knowing what it is,
Yeah.
I think the decision to go with the Bear Claws Engelmann spruce top.
Striking.
Yeah, and I think the Cindy inlay, it's always been one of the preferred, like favorite inlays within Taylor's catalog. And it was part of this series for so long. It went away for a number of years. It came back. It's kind of gone away again. But this guitar and the response we've had to it really shows that popularity of that inlay just still stands.
Yeah.
And I love the combination of some of the choices here. The Koa, purfling and the ebony binding, the abalone. The combination of things just makes for a strikingly beautiful guitar. And thankfully, the sound matches.
Yeah. Yeah, it's beautiful. It made me think that there needs to be somewhat of an honorable mention that kind of plays into your custom as well. But the limited PS14s and everything.
And 914s.
Yeah, everything has been great. I think it's cool because you got to use your guitar
For that
to
video,
kind of do that sneak peek video, which was very cool to see. Anyway,
it just means I have really good taste in guitar.
Very good taste. But this one definitely being kind of our Alamo Music Collective exclusive guitar, it has to be the one,
It's been a lot of fun. We will definitely do more exclusives in the future. But yeah, this has been kind of knocked it out of the park, and it's been fun. So the definitely a bright shining light in my 2020 is this guitar. Anyways, that's been our top 10 with a definite strong number 1. But really, there's been a ton of guitars this year, shockingly.
Yeah.
Now, not all of these have been easy to come by. We alluded to that even, speaking of the GT and the American Dream models. There have been difficulties in getting all of these, but I'm continually impressed by manufacturers being able to, even at a time like this, innovate, introduce new things, get it out into our hands, and just really continue to equip musicians.
Yeah. And with probably the biggest uptick in new guitarists and people learning the instrument or relearning, picking it back up, it's really cool to see the manufacturers do that along with them and just, kind of have a reinvention of sorts. But yeah, it was a good year for guitar.
Yeah. So these are the top 10 that we actually reviewed this year, but there's probably some that we missed because we didn't get a chance to. And so I'd like you to comment below. Tell us what your top 10 or number 5 or whatever it would be guitar that came out this year would be, or maybe all time. That'd be a cool video to do at some point. We should just Trying to narrow
Just
down to
go
the top
crazy.
guitars
Yeah.
of all time. Number 1, the Chris McKee
Chris.
model. Anyways, if you're new to our channel, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, like our videos. We're trying to reach 100,000 subscribers as soon as possible, and you are helping us get there. We appreciate you as the guitar community watching us, tuning back every time. Remember, Cooper, at the end of the day, the very best guitar in the world is a Chris McKee 914 CE. No, really, it's the one you're making music on. It's what we strive to help you do. Is that right?
Absolutely.
All right, we'll keep coming back. We'll see you next time. Thanks.
Once again, you guys, thank you very much for watching. If you want to learn more about the guitar, check out Alamo Music. Oh, Pat.
Hey everybody, I love guitar videos just like you do. But guess what? Alamo Music Center has another YouTube channel. You can check out all the piano and keyboard reviews that we have and see more of me. Cooper, do we have another one of those? He's fine.